which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Diaz.
Here.
Covert.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Newberry.
Here.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Your Honor, I've got a statement, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay,
I'd like to know if we can put on the table item number 4 for the next meeting.
okay, that's considering the first reading of an ordinance and adopting regulations for chickens on residential property. Do I hear any objection to tabling that motion for?
I
2
only
weeks?
have an objection to the next one because I've already informed everyone I won't be here
On 5 or 4?
on 4.
On 4, okay.
Just table it to a date certain, Your Honor.
Well, we
A
can,
certain date? Okay. You want to just make it, table until,
we can
have-
request a table until Councilman Crowner can be here, or all members can be here for
Okay.
discussion on the item.
okay. Any objection, council?
Well, I don't know. We seem to have quite a bit of people here. It's kind of late notice for them.
The reason I say this now is because I believe I had to wait till today to ask for it to be tabled. And that's the only reason why I had to wait today.
And your reason for doing it?
Okay, my reason for doing it, I got a prepared statement. And I appreciate you folks being there. Wait to make sure we got a good vocal here. I do appreciate the folks being here tonight. I'm sure most of you are in reference to the chicken ordinance. But since our last meeting, and I had plans on doing a survey in our community to find out what our community feels about it, other than just assuming, or what our plans on. So, we're going to read my statement, if you don't mind. Members of the council, I've approached this decision with care, balancing landowner rights and the needs of our community. I recognize that while some residents have voiced support through petitions and attendance, others have raised concerns, even if not present at the meetings. I also want to acknowledge that our city is striving to grow in a more modern, forward-looking way, and that in future developments, we can encourage standards like through homeowners associations that clearly define permissible uses, such as whether chickens are allowed in certain neighborhoods. For this reason, I believe that we should take time to use these 3 hearings and ensure our decision reflects the balanced vision we have for West Burlington. Above all, I'm committed to ensuring that our decision reflects the will of the majority of our residents, not just a vocal few of our own personal biases. By ensuring we understand the majority's will now, we create a resolution that stands strong over time, regardless of future council shifts. This is how we build a lasting foundation for West Burlington. So I would be moving the table to vote tonight. Another reason why is I have been going in our community, and since last week, and it's in certain residential areas, I've made contact with about 82 people so far. And of those 82 people, only 16 have said no to the use of chickens. Now, obviously, that's just a small sample of our community. A true sample would be about 200 to 300 people based on our population size. I don't think I'll be able to reach that amount, but I think we can make a fair assumption, giving me a little bit more time, that we can get a very accurate detail, or close to it, of what our community wants. Not just what we think, or we believe, or what we're hoping to strive for. And that's my reason for it.
With that, do I need to call a vote for amending this, or do I just have a consensus from the?
I'd just like to make one comment, has nothing to do with that. I'd just like us to be done. We've been voting on this thing for 2 or 3 years. And so I would like a defined time frame of when we're going to be done and not just leave this out there forever.
I don't want to leave it out there for you. That's why I suggested the next meeting, but, I forgot that you did say earlier that you were going to be gone. And so it would be the meeting
June
after that,
7th.
I'm assuming.
June 17th would be the second meeting in June.
that's fine with me.
Okay.
Yep.
Agreeable?
I like the rationale that you're doing. My only issue with that is that we have a family that's currently waiting, and we've now pushed them out 3 months. Do we want to add another month to that?
The only reason I ask that is because I think when we make this decision, it's going to be a final decision for future councils and won't have to worry about it, rather than, as like I said, a shift in council. Maybe one person would change and the next. I think then, once we make this decision, they can say the majority of our community wants it this way. And of those people that I did talk to, that even said no, some of the people, they also felt that the majority would rule. They had no problem if the majority of our, if that's what we came up with our community pulse.
And I very much respect what you've done and appreciate the work that you've done for our community. I don't think if this vote goes one way or another that this topic will end. The way I see this is if we don't pass this, we'll bring another piece and try to pass something still requiring us to have some sort of regulations on the chickens. So I don't see it ending in next month either, so.
Not to interrupt, Kathy, I believe this is a two-part thing here. One is, the question I asked the community, and it was a simple yes or no answer.
Okay.
All right. Do you support allowing your neighbors to keep chickens under certain conditions? No. So I started on the east side of town, and then I ended up tight on we're talking interior of our city, all right? I'm not talking apartment complexes. I'm not talking the exterior where I'm living out in the outlying areas. We're more concerned about our residential areas here. Anyhow, it's a yes or no answer. I tried to be as unbiased as possible. I did answer questions after they gave me the yes or no answer, because I didn't want to try to influence their decision, because there was no wrong decision. It's what that person thinks. Easy enough to say when it's your neighbor, left, right, front, or behind you. We're not talking about somebody 2 blocks out. We're talking about your neighbors here. And that's how I worded the question. I thought that was the best way. I got to admit, I did use some artificial intelligence to help make sure that I come up something to where I was not trying to influence anybody's decision in either way. It was pretty awesome talking to the public. The majority of the people that I talked to, they took their time and interrupted their dinners, lunches, take their kids to a game or whatever. But I'm saying, like, until tonight, there was people they stopped and talked. A lot of the people, whether yes or no, was astounded that we were discussing the chickens. So the issue I was getting back to was allowing the chickens, and then the people, then we set the conditions. Several people suggested, why don't we just follow, Burlington's not having a problem, why don't we just follow Burlington's directions? I've talked to, we have retired an officer here in our community, that was from Burlington, and they said that worked pretty good for them with the regulations they had in Burlington. Several people that had friends and family in Burlington, they also said, even the ones that said no, said that they knew people that lived in Burlington and had chickens nearby, and they didn't really have a major problem. And there was some split decisions somehow. Some of the households had a husband and wife, and some had different opinions, just like in some households. I talked to professionals, people were just coming off work, and seen some old acquaintances I hadn't seen for many, many years. That was pretty cool. And so anyhow, I know that we need to end the chicken situation. So that's why I'm saying it was a two-part deal. Once we know for sure, and I'm telling you, right now, it tends to believe, Andy, you said 50-50 last time we had a meeting. The way it's looking, it's more than, I'm thinking maybe 65% of our community, maybe more, or is more than willing to be patient with their neighbors and the chickens as long. The most common theme was no roosters. That was like, hey, I don't have a problem, sit up the rule, but no roosters. A lot of people don't understand that roosters just don't crow the first thing at 5:30 a.m. They crow, because when I was on Prairie Street, I was there about 3:30, and that rooster was crowing the whole time I was there until about 5 o'clock, 5:15. I went back the very next night on Cottage Grove, and you can hear the rooster all the way at the very north end, starting about 3:30 until I left about 5 o'clock. And so that was pretty, and then, not to go on to another thing, but actually the most common complaint I was receiving from our public was cats. And that was from all areas, except for tonight, the last area did. But it was a common theme, was to complain about cats. And I got some but that's another topic.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest that for the sake of moving forward, that,
Just one question. Just one question. Thank you.
all right.
How many signatures or people responded, yes, we could have chickens with restrictions? How many people interviewed that said yes?
I had, of the 82 people that I talked to, in person,
All right.
all right,
And so then we have like 64 signatures with the last,
but
Petition we
one
had.
thing I did clarify was, I made sure every person I talked to was a West Bloomington resident, and that person was of legal age. And they actually, I did tell them that I would destroy these documents because I did not want they did not want anybody knowing. But if those 56 said yes, 16 said no. That's as of tonight.
so then we have 64, and I think I don't think any child signed anybody's petition,
Was
and they
it
were all
from
living in West
Bloomington?
Burlington.
They said the address on there, there was some Burlington residents, the majority was West Burlington, no children.
So with that, Ringo, you've got like 160.
Okay. I'm going to take a vote on this,
All right.
just to move us along.
All right.
I want show of hands on this one. How many of you want to have this postponed for the July meeting, second meeting in July?
June.
2?
Okay.
All right, 3? Do not, right? Correct? All right. In that case, then, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as...
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll move on to the consent agenda.
Can I remove,
So who were the three?
The 3 that said no to postpone it, you, and...
And Andy?
Yeah,
Okay.
3.
And can I just make one comment on that? Ringo, I very much respect what you've done, and I think we will still need that information. So if you're willing, I would be willing to support you in continuing to get that research for us. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Kathy.
Okay. At this,
can I remove item number 2, the financial report for April? I'm just gonna,
off
From
the
the
consent,
it's not actually on there, so I'm gonna,
I'll motion to
Next
approve
one.
the consent agenda with removal of item number 2.
thank you.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. At this point, Greg, are you still able to hear us?
I am.
Okay, we'll ask you for a report if you'd like.
I'm just going to say we've had some good discussions out here, and I'll bring back information at the next council meeting. So, but that's all I have for tonight.
Okay. All right, Chase?
Denko will be in town not next week, tomorrow on South Broadway in Washington to do crack sealing. Then Pat Klein Water Main, they have about 3/4 of the water line in and filled, and it's passed its 2 back T samples and pressure testing. So they're going to start hooking services to it later this week or the beginning of next week. And once they do that, they'll finish the last quarter of the line. And then the pool's ready. Everything's working. Chemicals are in. So
So they can start training.
I believe someone's going to be there tomorrow from the Y. But the boiler's on, so the water's warm. So
Ah, okay. Thank you.
that's all I got.
Jesse?
We've got a couple things. Officer McCampbell has been picked as a school resource officer, so he'll be starting next year at the schools. And then we've been a very long project, but it's still in process as we're getting some new radios installed in the fire trucks that match the ones that we have at the police department. So we'll be able to communicate with one radio between the fire department and police department, which is a big, big deal. So thanks to E911 board for covering most of that. We'll still have to, some finances through us, but majority of it comes through the E911, which everybody pays $1 for their cell phone bills, and that's what we're using the funds for, is for all fire departments in Des Moines County and law enforcement in Des Moines County, so
So they'll be able to communicate then
with one radio.
with one radio?
Yep.
And we've been trying to do this since 9/11.
We've been doing this since 9/11, yep, 2001.
And congratulations, Chief. I'm
Yeah,
glad to see it done.
it's coming along.
Anything else, Jess?
Nope.
Thank you. Angie? Kelly?
We are still short lifeguards. In this last resolution, we did not include shallow water guards in that list of salaries or wages. And Katie has about 4 people that are willing to do shallow water guarding. So she'd like to kind of get some of those lined up. We would have a resolution on the next meeting agenda to include the shallow water guards if council doesn't object to that.
Sounds good.
Is there any way to add it on tonight, since we have a salary item?
I can't add that one, it's not been on the topic. There is a salary for shallow water guards that was approved in '25, but when we approved the one just this beginning of this year, it just didn't have that listed on there, so I'm not sure if we need to, I'm trying to decide if I needed to actually just keep it the same wage as it was in '25 and hire them at that wage, or if we want to set a new wage, we need to add it to a resolution.
Do we have any comparisons with any?
No, I guess my recommendation would just be to go between the concessions and the full certified lifeguard wage,
It's reasonable.
without having to try to touch those again.
Do you think we could get kind of a head nod approval to send a recommendation for Caitlin to either try to fill those positions as she's got lined up, or that we don't intend on approving it?
I think we intend on improving it, but it has to be posted.
It has to be posted, yes, but we're running out of time here,
I
so
would
I'd
say
like
she
to
could
give
go
her
ahead and-
the go-ahead to start aligning that, assuming that we can't give final confirmation until the next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Guess I'll go to council reports. Kathy?
Get your raffle tickets. I got mine here. Welcome. Finalizing the pool staff, so if we have any lifeguards, please reach out, but that's coming along well. That's all I got this week.
Okay, thank you.
Bike races are just going to be around the corner. We will not have a kids parade. We'll just incorporate whoever wants to be in the parade with Ringo for the kids, instead of separating it out, because it's hard for them to get through the parade and then back to their folks and then back to the regular parade, and there wasn't that much participation. But I anticipate a pretty good crowd for the bike races. And the other thing, I want to express condolences to the Ray Peebler family. He's been a patriarch in our community for a long time, and he helped a lot of widowers and their children throughout the years, and he's just a loss to our community.
Thank you. Andy?
2 items, Your Honor. Number 1, recognize a few new donors for the 4th of July. CAPS Insurance, Anderson Service Center, Century 21, and RE/MAX. And then also I just wanted to say thank you for having the joint session with Burlington. I thought it was productive. I think we've had some good wins, but there's more to come. So I'm glad that we continue to do that. I would like us to continue doing things with the school as well, but I think these conversations with the city of Burlington have been productive.
Thank you.
A couple things, Your Honor. I want to congratulate all of our graduates from our local high schools and wish them luck in their careers, whatever they choose, and even on their further education. Another thing is the parade. Please, anybody, this is our 250th year. We'd like everybody to get involved in our parade. I think we had a good attendance last year. It was my first year, and it was fun. And I hope to have that again this year. And then on the final thing, this is a holiday Memorial Weekend. I hope everybody has a safe day with your families, but there's a reason why for this day, and it's to honor people who died for our country, for we can sit in here and have democracy. And that's what it's all about. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Your parade sign-up is online and available there, so all sign-ups are all ready to go.
Yeah. Katie helps me a lot on that.
Good
so.
deal.
I just want to say one thing about the motorized scooters and kids cruising around. See a lot of them wearing helmets now, which has been a good success. But also as drivers, I think we need to pay an extra second to watch out for these kids because some of them still don't, stop at stop signs or they're wobbly or whatever. So just watch out this summer because they're outside having a good time.
Thank you. And with that, I will ask for any citizen inquiries that they would like to make on topics that we're discussing.
Do I need to sign anything?
No. Or just your name and address and I'll
Okay.
be fine.
Vanessa Johnson, 301 West Van Wyse. I wrote this before there was any debate earlier about chickens and moving them, moving the meeting, but, so, hello, I'm Vanessa Johnson. I live and am one of the property owners at 301 West Van Wyse Boulevard. I am too an elected official by the West Burlington residents. The difference is I am not a paid official. My time is voluntary. I ran for the school board to make sure our constituents had and still have a voice in the matters of our school, students' education, and to try to make things more transparent as much as I legally am allowed to. You all are elected officials. You are making decisions for our small community, yet you are not listening to those that put you in the seats that you are currently sitting in. I watched the last meeting due to having a sick child at home instead of being here in person to speak, so I'm here now. The chicken ordinance is the issue. There are things that you have to do to have a chicken in West Burlington. Stick with it. Don't change it. I've personally never had or seen any issues with chickens, never seen them out running around. I haven't had any nuisances, haven't heard them squawking, no issues. Keep the original ordinance and let those who wish to have chickens have their chickens. They aren't hurting anyone and are much healthier than commercial and store-bought chickens and eggs. I'm going to repeat some of the benefits that were mentioned at the last meeting. Fresh eggs for the family are more beneficial than eating a store-bought egg that has had antibiotics added into it and has been washed, and only God knows what else has been done to those eggs before they get to the store. Learned responsibility for caring for food stores for kids. Fresh chicken meat without the extra additives from commercialized farms. Kids learn about the circle of life. Chickens reduce food waste by eating some kitchen scraps, which in turn creates better compost for yards and gardens. They also eat pesky insects that infect our yards, homes, and indoor pets like dogs. Those insects include, but are not limited to, ticks, Japanese beetles, ants, fleas, and more. If you change the ordinance and take away owning and raising chickens within our city limits, you are taking away fresh food, learning opportunities, and money-saving means to families who choose to have homegrown food. You will also be making decisions for your constituents that they do not want. Hence, nobody spoke negatively at the last meeting about owning backyard chickens. You wanted more input and information. You got what you asked for. Now give the people who voted you in office what they want. Their rights to their property that they own, and to keep their chickens and have chickens if desired. Thank you. Hello? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I have a letter from someone in the community.
Address again, I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to read something from Susan Pratt, and I have her address. She wasn't able to be here, but wanted me to read this for her. So Susan Pratt is her name, and she lives at 401 Ballard Street in West Burlington. Personal statement from Susan Pratt. Introduction, May 16, 2026. Background. My name is Susan Pratt. I live at 401 Ballard Street and have been a resident of West Burlington for nearly 40 years. Community experience. I enjoy living in West Burlington because it is a small community that embraces a diverse population and a variety of perspectives. I have never gotten that involved with the city government, but have found out that coming to and participating in a few city council meetings is quite interesting. I recently became involved because the council is trying to pass a city ordinance to prevent residents from keeping chickens on their property. At the last city council meeting on May 6th, I addressed support for the people that have chickens and would like them to keep them. After the vote to limit the keeping of chickens in residential properties unless they had a 2-acre lot size, that would eliminate all properties within the city limits passed, I stayed after the vote and listened to the council's comments. Therese Lees brought up the idea that West Burlington was a rural community with rural roots, not an urban community, which I agree with, and she was concerned about the family that had followed through with all the requirements to keep chickens on their property and thought maybe they could possibly be grandfathered in if the ordinance passed, which there was no discussion on at that time. Andy Crowner was the next council member to raise the concern that it would bring down the value of properties that were close to the yards of chickens. I think Andy might not be concerned for the property owners, but his percent of the sale of such properties. I think just maybe there might be a conflict of interest on Andy's part, just maybe. The other two council members, Diaz and Covert, had no comments. The residents of West Burlington pay taxes. They should have the right to do whatever they want on their yard if it is not detrimental to the neighbors within the city codes. What makes West Burlington a great place to live is the diversity of its people and their ideas. I enjoy walking my dog and seeing what other members of the community do with their yards and houses. My fear is if the city decides not to allow chickens in backyards, what might be next for the council to eliminate? Fire pits, backyard grills, no dogs, no cats. All surrounding cities and towns allow backyard chickens, so why not West Burlington? Signed, Susan Pratt. And my name is Taylor Bowling, and my address is 410 Ramsey Street in West Burlington. And this is what I prepared. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Taylor Bowling, and I'm here tonight as a resident of West Burlington and as someone who cares about our community. There is no need to go into all of the many benefits of backyard chickens again, as you all have been previously emailed about this, and this was discussed at prior meetings. I encourage an open debate to understand the reasoning behind the proposed decision to eliminate backyard chickens. You've all been elected into these positions to represent our community. There is a minority here in favor of the new ordinance. It is revealing that only community members willing to take the time to show up for this have been in favor of allowing chickens in West Burlington. This speaks volumes. It should be apparent to the council members that the community is leaning towards allowing chickens. I want to acknowledge Ringo for taking the time to speak with members of the community and hear their stance. I appreciate a city council member who's willing to put in the effort to understand how we all feel and formulate an honest opinion on the matter at hand. Thank you for that. I'm sure the people would love to hear the feedback received from the residents, which I understand that you shared. Keep in mind, it's nearly
it's a nearly impossible task to reach everyone. I would have shown up here today with more signatures if I thought that could have made a difference. I am curious, however, what would it take to change minds? 100 signatures, 200 signatures, emails, some farm fresh eggs to taste the difference? I understand that ordinances are created with the intention of protecting neighborhoods and maintaining quality of life. I respectfully ask the council to reconsider the proposed requirement that residents must own 2 acres in order to keep backyard chickens. I have stated previously that chickens require less space than cats or dogs, 3 to 4 square feet per bird inside the coop and 8 to 10 square feet per bird in the outdoor run. A 2-acre requirement feels disconnected from the actual realities of keeping a small backyard flock. Chickens do not require 2 acres to live healthy, sanitary lives when properly cared for. In fact, many cities across Iowa and across the country successfully allow chickens on standard residential lots with reasonable guidelines for cleanliness, coop placement, flock size, and noise control. I believe that this is up to the homeowner for how we choose to use our yard and space, as long as we are respectful to the community as well as considerate to our neighbors. This ordinance would effectively eliminate backyard chickens for the overwhelming majority of residents living within city limits, including many responsible families who have quietly and successfully raised hens for years without issue. Tonight, I want to focus on fairness, being reasonable, and community impact. This proposal would not target irresponsible ownership. It would punish responsible owners alongside everyone else in the community. Many residents, including myself, have already invested significant time, money, and effort into building approved coops and enclosures after receiving permission from the city. Changing the ordinance for those who have complied with prior requirements is unfair and discouraging to citizens who adhered to the guidelines. I also think it's important to ask whether this ordinance truly addresses a widespread issue or whether this is a personal opinion for a few. At a time when food costs continue to rise and more families are connecting with sustainable living, backyard chickens are an important resource for many households, not just a hobby. I ask the council to consider alternatives instead of a blanket 2-acre requirement. Options like permit renewals, coop standards, flock limits, inspections for problem properties, or nuisance enforcement to create something balanced and fair. Thank you for your time. My wish is that the council would listen closely to the voices of the residents who are here today and passionate about this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? If not, I will move on to our, yes, certainly, come up.
Hi there. John Johnson, 1206 West Mount Pleasant, West Burlington. As most of you know, or I think everybody up there knows, I've been on the council before. And as Andy said a little bit ago, this ordinance has been on the run for a good year, maybe even a little bit longer. And when I was on there and I was getting off, we had pushed Greg a little bit. Teresa did. I said something to him about, finishing up what that council had started, and that never got done. So now you're kind of stuck with what was started when 2 of us other ones were on the council. I believe back then the ordinance would have passed with people having chickens. So I kind of feel that it was purposely delayed. I had brought up back then on the council, and this is all record, I had brought up that if it didn't get passed, I was afraid that you guys would make an ordinance that wouldn't basically make it impossible to have chickens. And that's what you exactly did with this ordinance. You put 2 acres as a requirement. That's kind of shameful, that you had to put that it would have been better if you would just plain eliminated it rather than try to cover it up with something that doesn't even exist in the city, except for a couple spots, okay? But for the general vicinity or the general household, it eliminates it. I don't have nothing wrote down, and so if I jitter and jabber, I don't have stuff wrote down. But I do want to say this. I want to go back with a history lesson. When I was on the council, kind of my first term, there was a cement factory in town, and that cement factory was causing lots of dust, and you couldn't even see the top of their building when it was when they were filling the hopper. The hopper had great big holes in it and everything. And I was on the council at the time, and it was getting the cement dust on my cars, and it was eating the paint, and I was brought into the administrator's office, and I was told that I couldn't, I could bring up, I could show pictures, but I really couldn't vote on certain things like that because I was making a profit. I was making a profit on cars, but they were causing my cars to devaluate. And the only reason I bring that up is because my friend Andy here has brought up several times that it devalues property. And Andy, you actually make a living selling houses just like I was selling cars. And I was told I couldn't vote on that back then.
No, not at this point. And I would rather that you not individually pick out council members when you're talking. I think it's good for you to say.
A current council member then, I could say, and I will do that, I'm sorry. But the truth is the truth. So retract what I said about a name. But I was told I couldn't vote. And I think that it's the same thing here. So with that said, I want to say one more thing. And this comes from the heart. I had some acreage, or a couple acres, acre and a half. And I came to this council and I asked for me to have a couple horses. My daughters wanted horses because they were going to do some rodeoing. And I told them, no, we couldn't have horses because Dad wasn't going to start taking care of those horses, and neither was Mom. And they assured me that they would get up in the morning, they would take care of the horses in the morning, they would take care of the horses in the evening, they would help get the hay. And what that really did was it taught my two girls the facts of life. It affected them like those horses were kids before they had kids. And they learned that those kids, or those horses, were like kids. And they had a responsibility every morning, every evening to take care of those chickens. To this day now, or the horses, I'm saying, I think the same thing can be done with the chickens. I think there's a learning. I see little kids here. I'm sure that those little kids are the same thing as what my kids were. Today I'm down at my mother-in-law's, and this is what kind of brought me to this meeting. She passed away, and I see she kept every letter, just every letter. And one of them letters, or several of them letters, on the front, my daughter's Kathy, and I can bring them up. I'm not making this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up. She had made pictures of the chickens, and because Grandma Jeanette had chickens, and Kathy was saying, how much she liked going up to Grandma Jeanette and seeing the chickens and helping them with the chickens. It was a life lesson. Kathy now has chickens in Burlington. Cindy has chickens in Denmark. I don't buy the statement that it's cheaper to have chickens and have cheaper eggs. That doesn't happen. But I do buy the saying that they're better eggs. They don't have the spray on them. They're fresher. There's a different taste. So, you guys, Andy, I wasn't picking at you. Sorry about using your name, but, because I sat with you a lot of times, but I really think you guys should consider having the chickens in the city. So I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
My name is Braden Murphy, and I live at 205 Swan Street, so you'll have to forgive my attire this evening. I spent some time in the emergency room earlier. But, Ringo, I appreciate what you did, going out and talking to people. That's a big deal.
Thank you.
Mayor, clearly, there's precedent, and sorry about your decorum, but Andy, why don't you recuse yourself from this?
Just a second. We're not going to have personal attacks back and forth.
There was no personal attack. It was a simple question.
No.
I know he can't answer, and that's perfectly fine.
And again, that's kind of unfair that you have to ask a question that he can't answer.
But there's precedence that has been set by the council previously that says that he should have.
Well,
So,
you can make your statement and go on.
well, I'll come back for the answer to that question later, when he is allowed to answer it. Because I fully believe that there is a personal bias on his part, and the vast majority of people who have responded to any kind of question about whether or not people should be allowed to have chickens has clearly been to allow them to have chickens, but yet this council continues to push for people to disallow people to have the right to raise a tiny little bird in their backyard. You say I can't have a chicken, why can I have a parrot? What's the difference? To me, there isn't one, because that parrot talks. My chickens don't. My neighbor's dog barks at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. When the sun goes down, my chickens go to bed. They don't make any noise. I asked my very next door neighbors if they were even aware that I had them, and both of them said no. They didn't hear anything, they didn't smell anything, because there's no issue. And like I said last time, until there's an issue, leave people alone. Live and let live.
My name's Joel Mellinger. I'm at 505 West Air Drive. Again, I would like to thank Mr. Covert for going out and doing the legwork that you did the last couple weeks. I appreciate it. Also, I just want to point out, I'm a taxpayer, property taxpayer, just like we all are in this room. Those taxes never seem to go down. They usually always raise. And it just seems like, actually, let me say this first. I didn't plan on getting up here and speak tonight, but just hearing some of the stuff, I feel like some of this stuff needs to be said. I talked about my girls previously. I'm not going to go into all that. We've already heard the benefits for children. I just want to say, we all pay these taxes. They always go up. And it just seems like every few months, whoever the council is, you guys are always coming up with, and I'm not saying you guys personally, just in general, that's usually what happens. There's always a ticket up there, trying to tell us, what we're not allowed to do on these, this property that we pay for every year, and we increasingly pay for it. That being said, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. And I guess if we're going on, kind of why we're up here, you guys say there's these anonymous complaints. I've still never heard one. But I've heard just in the 4 weeks that I've been into 2 of these council meetings, and, we've been out now knocking on door to door, talking to people. I have heard a bunch of complaints about these cats. Councilmen have said, that that's what they've heard too. So I guess if we're going to go by your guys' logic about, why we're up here fighting for these chickens, because there's these anonymous complaints, I think you guys have to now, I would expect there to be a motion on your guys' an item on your guys' next agenda to address the cats, because, that's why we're here. And you can publicly state my name as a complaint for those cats. So I'm not afraid of that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We will have the vote on this when item number 4 comes up. With that, I need to move into new business. Our first item on that is a resolution for setting a date for the sale of general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2026, and authorizing the use of the preliminary official statement in conjunction therewith.
Motion to approve with the sale date of Wednesday, January 3rd.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? I mean, this is something that's been on the radar for a little while, but, okay.
June 3rd? Did you say June 3rd?
June.
All right. Resolution requires a voice vote. May I please have that? I mean, not, roll call, I'm sorry.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye. Motion carries. Our second item is consider entering into a cost share grant contract with the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship for an Urban Water Quality Initiative grant for the West Burlington Trailhead Park Bioretention Cell Project.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion on this? It's accepting our grant, as I understand. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, consider entering into a professional services agreement with Hidden Prairie Engineering for the Trailhead Parking Project.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. So now we will go to number 4, consider the final reading of an ordinance adopting regulations for the keeping of chickens on residential property.
Motion approved.
Second?
Motion and second. Discussion?
May I have time to respond?
Yes.
First, I just want everybody to understand that we have to do something. Our current ordinance says you can have no chickens. So current ordinance does not do what you want either. Current ordinance says no chickens. So we need to do something so that we have ordinance in place so everybody's treated fairly. So right now, you don't want us to leave it alone because it says the opposite of what you want. Number 2, on people calling me out for wanting high home prices, you got me. That's my scam. I'm up here trying to make a great city so that I can make a percentage off sales. That's why we're doing a park and bioretention and trails and doing all these things. That's pretty unfair. okay? I'm here giving my time, trying to do the best for everybody, and that's pretty unfair. That basically say you can't vote on anything because you're trying to improve our city. Well, I'm trying to improve our city. So, lastly, I think chickens are not to be in town. They're classified as livestock by the state of Iowa. I'm against that, always have been. I've voted no against all these for years, and I'd like to have this done and over with so we can move on.
I'd like to make a comment too. I've known Andy for several years now too, and I know that he's not doing this for any private gain. And I don't like that either.
Thank you.
I know you've worked hard. We all have different visions of how our city should grow. But, and we all have disagreements on how our city should grow. But the main point is we'd like to see our city grow too. Into you know, a nice community, which we do have. Folks, when you come out here and give us your opinions, that counts. It means something to us. And that's, like I said, Memorial Weekend come up. People died so we can be in here and have good discussions. And I've served my country. I've served our community as an officer for 20 years. And I feel it's important that everybody should have a right to speak. And I'm a strong believer in landowner rights. But at the same time, even though Andy and I, we've had this discussion, I've told everybody from the very beginning how I felt about this back and forth in a way. But Andy is not a person who's trying to get a personal gain out of this. That really upsets me about that.
I appreciate that, and I think most people know that.
Yes,
but
I do
I appreciate
too.
you saying that.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'd like to just say I appreciate everybody, you know, coming up and talking. It's good to hear voices of the community. Ringo, I appreciate you talking to going house to house and talking to people, and that, I mean, shows a lot of your character too. And it also gives us some facts, gives us some data to go on too. So I appreciate that, and I think that's kind of what we needed to continue to make these decisions, is getting facts and opinions and what the homeowners want and what our community wants. So thank you.
I'd like to thank you all for coming in. We don't know what you're thinking if you don't tell us. You voted us into these positions to make the decisions that we feel are best for the community, and if we don't know your needs, we can't meet those. So very much appreciate that. That being said, we have a lot more issues than just chickens, so please continue to let us know your feedback, because we can't meet your needs if you don't tell us. That being said, we need an ordinance. We don't have one that's appropriate, so we do need one. In my opinion, this isn't it. We need to take it back to the drawing board. We need to address the needs of all of our people to protect our neighbors and their rights on their lands, but also to allow us, in the safest way possible, to also have chickens. So, thank you.
Well, as I've said 2 other times, I'm not here to tell you what you can and cannot do with your property. You pay your property taxes. I can set some boundaries and regulations. This current ordinance where you cannot have chickens unless if you have a 2-acre lot, or which is not in the city proper, is totally unacceptable to me. We had a permit for chickens for all these years with regulations where you had to contact your neighbors front, back, sideways, get permission from them. The other ordinances that I've read from other communities don't require that. They let you go get your chickens, and you have to have a coop, and you have to have it predator-proof, and you have to keep it clean, and all that wonderful stuff. And they've never once addressed asking a neighbor. I think for those that have followed the regulations, they went out and contacted their neighbors and set up their little chicken thing. And I went and looked at Taylor's, and it's perfect. She's got a privacy fence all around her backyard. She's got her coop. I mean, I walked down the alley. I didn't hear chickens. I didn't hear any chickens. I heard dogs. I saw squirrels, but I didn't see any chickens. And I just think that for the city of West Burlington, when we're in a rural district, I've got bigger things on my plate than fried chicken. And yes, we need an ordinance because we currently can't regulate anything with what we have currently, so we have to put it in an ordinance form. But if we want to mirror our ordinances with Burlington so that we're two cities and one community, so that it flows equally back and forth, that people aren't confused if they decide to leave Burlington and come to our wonderful town of West Burlington, the ordinances just slide right on through. In Burlington, they let them have chickens. And I think this ordinance where you cannot have them unless if you have 2 contiguous acres and you're the unified owner is too much. It's too much for our citizens, in my humble opinion. I will vote no on this for the 3rd time, and I think that we should probably look at the ordinance from Clinton. We've had several ordinances that Kelly brought to us, and I'm inclined to look at those and let you have chickens and set up the regulations. I know with the heat coming on, you may need to clean your coop a little more frequently than once a week, maybe twice a week. I'm not cleaning my dog's doo-doo every other day because I can't stand it. I don't think my neighbors can either, but I clean it. So that's my opinion. This is just too strict for your people, and I think I have more people commenting they want chickens with regulations than not having any chickens at all. That's what I've gathered from people calling me, emails, phone calls, and petitions.
Okay.
That's it.
Typically, I don't share my opinion because the council members are elected to do the voting, and I'm here mostly to manage the council. But in this particular instance, I think I, as a homeowner, maybe have something to say on this, but I also, with the city council, my thought is that, again, keeping regulations similar to Burlington would allow people to have chickens. I don't see a reason for us not to follow along with them. I also feel like that the people that have chickens and don't make an effort to let the city know that they have chickens are in the wrong. I also feel that any person that doesn't keep their chickens up is also in the wrong because that's detrimental to their neighbors. But those are the people that the city should come knocking on their door and saying, you know, you have violated what we would consider standard good neighbor rules for having chickens. And with that, I guess that's my opinion on this, which I have not, formally expressed until now. But I think really it's the people who fail to follow common sense rules to keep chickens clean is the people that I would be against having chickens. And with that, no further discussion from council members. I will call for a roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
No.
Newberry,
No.
Diaz,
No.
Covert,
No.
Motion fails. Keeping in mind that this will mean that the council has to come back to an ordinance that is fair to everybody in town, all right? And with that, I will move on to number 5.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Consider the second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 55 concerning impoundment of animals running at large, abused, or neglected.
Ron, could you just make it clear that the current ordinance, like Andy said, states that chickens are not permitted without express written consent of the city council? I don't want people to think that they can get the chickens and then address them later. So right now, that's what it currently says.
That the only way to have chickens is to
have
come before
written-
the city council.
Yeah, it says
Yes.
Well, they
are
have to
not
come and get a
permitted
permit.
except in an agricultural district unless written permission from city council.
They have to come and get a permit from you guys.
They have to get written permission from city council to have them
And
right
it'll
now.
come back to us.
Yeah.
So,
Your Honor.
again, that's one of the things I think I'm opposed to, is having an individual every single time we would have people who want to have chickens come to the city council. I would rather to have an ordinance that you could look at and say, I meet the ordinance requirements, or I don't. And still maybe turn in an application, but you know exactly what you're looking at that you have to have.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to make that
Okay.
clear in case people are listening.
Sounds like
online.
Greg
Greg,
would
did
like.
you have a comment?
Just that with the current ordinance, the city attorney recommended not utilizing the current ordinance until a new ordinance is adopted, one way or the other, but to not use the current process of allowing or permitting chickens. So we really need to have an ordinance in place
All right,
prior to moving forward.
moving forward.
So don't get any chickens any new chickens until we get this settled.
Sorted out, yes. Did I get through? Yes, I did. So do I have a motion to approve item number 5?
I don't have a motion yet, so I think I interrupted you.
Okay,
I'll make a motion.
thank you.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on this ordinance?
Your
Again-
Honor,
Yes,
could we tell our guests that it's perfectly fine if they'd like to step out? I know we've got some antsy children here.
certainly.
I don't want you to feel bad for leaving. It's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no problem. Okay, so do we have any discussion on this ordinance? I mean, the idea was that we were trying to recover our costs from animals that are picked up. I mean, that's what I remember.
I do have a discussion while I was doing my survey on the other thing. There's other topics that came up, and this is one where the cats, and then when I explained about the cost of animals that our citizens in our communities paying, most of the people I talked to about where we were talking about this being a fee involved, they were positive towards that.
Oh, to this particular thing?
Yes.
So we can do this, but I know, Ringo, when you and I went and visited with Tiffany, that, if the fines get too high, the owners won't come and pick up the dogs, and then they become property of the...
They do, but it's not fair to citizens to have to pick up the
Exactly.
tab all the time. It's just not. And not everybody is like you, Teresa, and like all this. Most of us have pets. And we're responsible pet owners. And we know that if our dog gets loose, we're going to pay them. That's it. If my dog gets loose and she goes to the shelter, I'm paying for her because I want her out of there. I want her back home with me. At least she's there safe until I get her.
I just had one question on, I think last meeting we talked about they could go ahead and pay this fine, and it was 30 or 35 or something, right, at the shelter. And if they don't pay it, then we're charging the 50. Is there something in place? How are we going to know if they paid there or not?
The animal shelter puts together a monthly report, and we'll work with them. We'll also have individual contracts that we're working on for each community with the Humane Society once, as Burlington turns the facility over to the Humane Society. So we'll be able to address it further in that contract as well.
So like that spreadsheet we saw earlier that had the addresses and the offenses on it, there would be another tab on there that said they
We'll have to work with her to ensure both cities are, Burlington is doing this as well, that both cities are receiving the information, because it's obviously cheaper to pay at the Humane Society rather than have a fine later on. So you're better off paying when you pick up the animal.
Are they gonna let you have it if you don't?
No.
No.
Oh, if you don't, yes.
They do.
Their practice has been to let you have it if you don't pay the daily fine and then charge the city.
Okay,
That's what this allows us to recover.
okay.
Gray, it might be useful to us also once this becomes our ordinance, to know whether or not how many pet owners are refusing to come and pick up their pet. I mean, I would think that would be useful information, whether we necessarily change our ordinance or not, but at least we would know, well, the fine is high enough that people are not picking up their pets. So.
Right.
Well, a lot of the pets don't have collars or chipped. So they're stray and you don't know who they belong to, nobody picks them up and they don't have a chip, so it's like,
We will not be able to address those without identification, correct?
Any further discussion on this? If not,
now, is this ordinance the same like Burlington is doing, like we talked at?
Exactly the same.
Okay, and will Danville and the other ones that are participants, will they have the same ordinance?
We'll certainly work with them to do that because each entity will need a separate contract, excuse me, with the Humane Society going forward.
What about the county?
County as well. They have minimal number of animals on a monthly basis as reported.
okay, Kelly, I'll call for a roll call, please.
Lees.
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Number 6, consider the second reading of an ordinance amending section 50.063 of the city code concerning abatement of nuisance.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a roll call.
Newberry.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Number 7, consider a second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 75 of the City Code concerning special shops. Stops, I'm sorry.
Motion approved.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Support, thank you. Any discussion? Well, I mean, this is a tiny item, I guess, in terms of things. Roll call, please.
Diaz.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. All right, so then we're going to consider second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 79 of the City Code considering no parking zones, and that's with Lane Drive.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just was out there several times here in the last 2 or 3 days, and it is needed. Yeah, it can be hard to get through there when they're on both sides.
All right. Roll call, please.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 9, consider resolution setting non-union wages for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
Motion approved.
Second.
No discussion?
Would you like me to abstain from everything, or would you like to pull my relation off of this item and vote separately?
I don't feel like she has to abstain from this.
I will not vote on it if he's listed.
I don't
That's
feel
not
there's no need
appropriate.
for that.
can-
Because it's just not one person, it's a group.
It's everybody, his
Yeah,
is the same.
his is the same as everyone else's.
It's not.
I don't think your vote will.
This is budgeted,
I can pull off.
so.
I cannot.
It's
pull
just
it
not
off and
something I feel
put,
comfortable voting on.
Brad's on there separately too.
Appreciate you even discussing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'd be different if it was, and he gets an extra bonus, or,
I just like to keep it straight.
Okay, well, in that case, I just recommend that you abstain on this one.
That's fine.
Roll call, please.
Newberry.
Abstain.
Diaz.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Consider the first reading of an ordinance setting water rates for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support.
I had a quick question. Does this sheet get published anywhere, this kind of example monthly bill impacts?
I don't think we haven't published it on like the website or anything.
Okay, I think there's some errors in the math, so I wanted to say that before that got sent out, because I don't think,
Yeah, we don't publish it anywhere, but we can take a look at it. There was some of the, Their counts are very different sometimes, like, she did one, some of them aren't taxable, some of the water is just taxed, some tax is included, some it's not. So that might be a little bit discrepancy in there, but
I don't think that first one's right, that it's a $4.19 increase. I couldn't come up with that math, but if the rates look fine to me. If we're not publicizing that example monthly bill, then
yeah, I can take a closer look at that.
Okay, no further discussion? Roll call, please.
Let's see. Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go to number 11, consider the first reading of an ordinance setting sewer rates for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
Motion to approve.
Second.
No further discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye. Number 12, consider the first reading of an ordinance setting garbage collection rates for fiscal year 2026, 27, and 27, 28.
We added that extra year just because it follows the contract we have with Levine's.
Motion.
Support.
No discussion? Roll call, please.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 12, consider the first reading of an ordinance setting garbage collection rates. Wait a minute, didn't I just do that one?
Recycling, sorry.
13.
13. Consider the first reading of an ordinance setting recycling rates, goodness, they're all similar, for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
Motion approved.
Second.
No discussion. Roll call, please.
Lees,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 14, consider a resolution authorizing year-end transfers for fiscal year 2025, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion on this? Do it every year. Roll call, please.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 15, consider a resolution authorizing an internal loan from the general fund to the debt service fund in the amount of $55,470 to provide temporary financing for expenditures within the debt service fund.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
This just is a reflection from the TIF shortage. So it'll be transferred back next year.
Roll call, please.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye. Motion carries. Oops, there's 16 that didn't show up here. Consider entering into a contract with Bowen Sachs and Fromel LLP for fiscal year 2025-26 for the annual auditing services.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support.
I just wanted to know, when was the last time we put this out to any kind of bid?
2 years ago,
I think it was
I don't remember.
I think.
I think this is the third year with them. I'd have to go back and check. But municipalities are their focus. And we receive support throughout the year, questions, et cetera, which we did not receive with our prior auditors as well, without additional cost. they're available throughout the year to answer questions and for discussion. So I think they've been a valuable asset to the city.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. At this point, any citizen inquiries?
I was just gonna say, just a reminder that, we have that work session next Tuesday at 5:15 to go over CIP and, some staffing, I think, public works staffing.
When you guys post the new rates on the website or whatever, I don't know, Angie, did you do this one on number 10? It says memo utility rates, because it has the rate comparison
No.
for everything.
I did not do it.
Do you want, what do you want? It's-
Well, if we put that on there so that people can see what the current raise proposed rate and how much the increase will be, this little chart
Yeah.
here that came
we
with
can-
number 10.
We can do something on, have Katie do something on the website, her
That way they can figure
billing
out
page.
how much more money they have to put aside.
Yeah,
Just-
sorry.
Sorry, Andy.
I was just saying, the one under that's the one that I found some errors on, so if you post the whole page.
Yeah, so if they
We will go back and check it and make sure it's.
go back, and that way they can see what it's all gonna cost for water and sewer and garbage, and maybe not flush their toilet so much.
Your Honor,
If it's yellow, but
I was wondering, during our work session, can we also have another topic, discussion with the cat situation? I had some ideas that I talked to Kathy and Brad about, that we bounced back and forth, and that would be an opportune time to discuss, because that was one of the priorities. I mean, it was consistent complaint
Okay.
from every area, except for the last area I talked to today, which was only 9 people. I mean,
Well, and when we had our joint council meeting, there were people who were also from Burlington saying that it's a problem over there in addition to our problem here too, so.
well, Greg, are we bringing those vets down this summer to work on?
We'll be bringing the professor down first for discussions and to tap into her expertise in the issue and dealing with it for a number of years. It's a huge cost factor. So we have to find a way to bring those, if we do adopt an ordinance, we have to find a way to which is typically a spay, neuter, and release program. We have to find a way to cover those costs, ideally through some volunteers, working with Iowa State perhaps for 2 weeks in the summer. But we have to find a way to address those costs in part of any spay, neuter, and release program. And we really need Burlington to do that at the same time as West Burlington. Otherwise, you're not going to tackle the problem at all. They'll just continue to cross borders.
I think there was 2 other things that came up besides that. One was that people were pointing out that people was constantly feeding the cats. And the other issue was that a lot of people don't know, and even though we publicize it a lot, is that we have traps, live traps that we can loan to the public. And those are a couple of things that Brad and I and Kathy were talking about, to how to keep track of. I know over the years, we get traps, we lose traps because of the recording portion, but Brad came with some ideas, and that's what I wanted to discuss during that meeting if we can. Anything to help us, you know.
I don't see any reason that we couldn't go ahead and have that put on our discussion.
Does the professor know if there's any grants available that we can apply for to help the neutering of the kitties?
I'll have to go back and check my notes. I don't believe that she knew of any notes. So they would come down for free, perhaps other than the cost of putting them up somewhere for that 2-week period, cover some minimal costs. But it would certainly be a lot cheaper to have several students come down. But that, again, is only for a 2-week period. We need a more permanent program in the community, working with area vets and on this issue on a consistent and regular basis. It seems to be the only program nationwide that's working. But so we'll certainly bring her down as a resource.
And we're going to invite Burlington to that meeting also.
Certainly.
Okay. Well, with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed can stay here. Thank you.